Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru।
ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਜੋ ਸੁਪਨਾ ਅਰ ਪੇਖਣਾ, ਐਸੇ ਜਗ ਕੋ ਜਾਨ। ਇਨ ਮੈਂ ਕਛ ਸਾਚੋ ਨਹੀਂ, ਨਾਨਕ ਬਿਨ ਭਗਵਾਨ। ਨਿਸ ਦਿਨ ਮਾਇਆ ਕਾਰਨੇ, ਪ੍ਰਾਨੀ ਦੋਲਤ ਨੀਤ। ਕੋਟਨ ਮੈਂ ਨਾਨਕ ਕਉ, ਨਾਰਾਇਨ ਜਿਹ ਚੀਤ। ਜੈਸੇ ਜਲ ਤੇ ਬੁੱਧਬੁਦਾ, ਉਪਜੈ ਬਿਨਸੈ ਨੀਤ। ਜਗ ਰਚਨਾ ਤੈਸੇ ਰਚੀ, ਕਹੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੁਨ ਮੀਤ। ਜੈਸੇ ਜਲ ਤੇ ਬੁੱਧਬੁਦਾ, ਉਪਜੈ ਬਿਨਸੈ ਨੀਤ। ਜਗ ਰਚਨਾ ਤੈਸੇ ਰਚੀ, ਕਹੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੁਨ ਮੀਤ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਪਾਵਨ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਬਾਣੀ of Salok Mehalla 9ਵਾਂ। So Sangat ji, we've all just heard the 23rd, 24th and 25th Salok of Guru Teg Bahadur ji Paatshah ji. They start off with saying, Jio Supna ar pekhnaa. And what that means is that supna, translating to dream, pekhnaa means to look at. Just like we're watching a dream. Jio Supna ar pekhnaa. Aise jag ko jaan. They said, know this jug, this world to be just like that. Just like watching a dream. In mein kachh saacho nehee. Then Maharaj is saying, but within that dream, in that dream, kachh saacho nehee. That nothing is actually sach, nothing is actually true, meaning nothing is permanent. So meaning, just like that dream, within this world, nothing is permanent. Nanak bin bhagvaan, other than Guru Teg Bahadur ji Maharaj ji says, other than bhagvaan, Vaheguru ji themselves, God themselves. Then they say that nis din maaeaa kaarane. Nis means night, din, day, meaning night and day, maaeaa kaarane. Kaarane means because of. Maaeaa, this illusion. Because of this maaeaa, they're saying that praanee, ddolat, neet. Praanee, mortal. Ddolat means waves, wavers. Neet means constantly. This praanee, this mortal, is constantly wavering and is not stable due to this. What isn't even true, this maaeaa, this illusion. And then they say that kottan naanak kou. Kou means very few. Naaraain jihe cheet, that actually cheet, that are constantly conscious and focused on that Vaheguru ji Akal Purkh, on God. Jaise jalte buddha. Just like buddha means a bubble. Just like a bubble appears upon water. Jal meaning water, jaise just like. Jaise jalte buddha upajay. It first appears. Upajay means when something is born. It appears, but binse, then it all of a sudden it's gone. It perishes, it goes. And then neet meaning constantly. This is constantly happening. One moment it's appearing, within the next moment it's gone. Then another bubble is appearing, then in another moment that bubble's gone. Jag rachana taise rachi. In the same way, this whole world has been made, just in that way. Kahu nanak sun meet. Then Guru Teg Bahadur ji Paatshah saying, listen, O my friend. Meet meaning friend. So, jo supna ar pekhnaa, aise jag ko jaan. Guru Sahib ji is saying that just like we're watching, but the interesting thing here is the word that Guru Sahib ji's used is pekhnaa. They've used the word pekhnaa, but as we all know that when we're actually dreaming, the truth is that something is watching that dream. There's a witness to that dream as well. But whilst the dream is taking place, it doesn't seem as if we're watching the dream. It doesn't seem as if we are witnessing that dream. But instead, what does it seem like? It seems as if that dream is a reality, and it seems as if we are in that dream. So just like we could be watching a movie, we could be watching a film, And we know that we're not the film. We know that we are separate to that film, and we're not actually inside of that film. So we're normally sitting on a sofa watching the TV, and we know that we are separate to that film watching it. So that would be pekhnaa. But in a dream, even though we are watching it, but we don't know. There are those very few that have reached that level of consciousness that are even able to watch a dream. And what that means is, so there's three avasthas, there's three states. So there's that jagrati, when we're awake. So as we are now, and you're able to listen to this katha because you're awake and you're listening to it, you're attuned to it. I'm awake now and I'm doing this katha. And then there's sopan. Sopan is then that dream. When we're in that dream and we take that dream to be the truth. And then there's sakopat. And then skopat is deep sleep. So when there is no dream. And that is something that we're not aware of at all when we're in that stage. But then there's something called turiya. Turiya isn't a stage. Turiya is something that is constant and that is always there. We normally kind of put down certain mantras and we link them to belong to a certain faith and religion. So we know that our Hindu brothers, that they use the jap of Om. And so the Om is in three parts. There's O, and then M. And that is actually talking about referring to those three states. But after that is practiced and after that is recited, that mantra, there's a slight silence. That slight silence is referring to that turiya. Turiya is that something that is constant and is always there, whether we are awake in jagrati, whether we are dreaming, or whether we're in deep sleep. That is constant, that is always there. And that is who we refer to as the witness, the watcher, the one that is pekhnaa, the one that is looking at everything. But we don't know it. And we're unconscious to that these are actually all just different stages that I go in and out of. But then that is knowing our soul, when we're constant and we're always there. But what happens is, instead of watching the dream from that place of that turiya avastha, of knowing that that dream isn't true and I'm not actually that, this is the story, this is what happens to all of us. Bhagt Ravidas ji, they say to us that Narpat ek singhasan soya, supne peya pekhari. Narpat ek singhasan soya. Narpat means a king. Narpat ek singhasan soya. There was a king, Bhagt Ravidas ji say, that was sleeping upon a bed. This is a very famous story. This is Narpat ek singhasan soya. But what happens is, he starts to dream, and supne peya pekhari, and he becomes a beggar within that dream. So imagine now, and I'm sure we've all had those type of dreams where we've become something completely something else to what we are. And we're in a certain situation and we go into this absolute panic mode, thinking that, how has this happened to me? How have I ended up in this situation? This is a king, but he's ended up as a beggar. But we all know that he's not really a beggar, he's still a king. But because he's not watching the dream as a witness, he's not conscious, he actually thinks he's that. And then Achataraj, Bhagat Ravidas ji says Achataraj, but his kingdom, his rule is still stable, it still holds, he still is the king, he's still got everything he's got. So Achataraj, but what happens is that Bicharat Dukapaya. But because he actually believes now he is the beggar, Bicharat, he's separated, he thinks he's separated from his rule and everything else that he owns, Bicharat Dukapaya, and now he's suffering, now he's going through pain. Duk is pain. So this Bichara, in this dream, he's going through so much pain. And then Bhagt Ravidas ji say that Achataraj Bicharat Dukapaya So gat pei hamari. And they're saying, as that king, our state is just like that. And our state, and now what we need to realize is, forget the dream. Our state is just like that in this life, in this dream. We're awake now, but Path ji is saying that Jio Supna aur pekhnaa aise jag ko jaan. So as silly it is as for him to feel pain in a dream, to think he's lost everything, Guru Sahib Ji is saying to us that it's as silly as that this actual world, this life that you're in now is a dream too. And when in this dream you gain something and you get overjoyed, just like we went through that sukh dukh jeh parse nahi, but those that are stuck in the sukh dukh, in that pain and happiness of, or more accurately pleasure. And when that king wakes up and he thinks, oh, you know what, it was a dream, but then you're still spooked out and you're freaked out. We have a certain dream and we're spooked out for a whole day, and we'll sit down, we'll talk to people about it. And then we're still thinking, and we're thinking, do you think that's going to actually happen? And we start freaking out thinking maybe it's going to happen now, but it was just a dream. And then we even laugh about it and say, you're so silly, I can't believe. And he's like thinking, I'm so silly, I was so stressed out thinking I lost everything. But Guru Sahib Ji is saying that world is just like that dream. And when you lose something in this life, in this world, but like it is just like that dream, they said it's as silly as crying and suffering and being in pain in a dream. It's silly as that in this life, suffering and being in pain when we lose things, because it's the exact same. Waking up is when we actually leave this life. The truth is, waking up, Sangat Ji, is not just when we leave this life, it's when we wake up. Like Maya says, Jago ho, sutte ho, chale aavan jara. They're saying when we actually wake up in this life, as in when we realize what we actually are, Sangat Ji, at that point, we'll think, I can't believe I was crying over when somebody smashed into my car and I didn't get paid out for it. Yes, it may have been inconvenient. That's a completely different story. But getting stuck in the dream of that and thinking, oh my God, that's it now, I can't live. I can't believe that I've lost that certain person out of my life. But even though we all know why are we feeling like that? Because remember what we spoke about in the last Salok? Because we start to believe we are this. And we only know this. So I then start, remember then what we've gone through before as well, the possessiveness. Then I would start thinking, mine. This person, my partner, they are mine. My mum is mine. But not realizing it's a dream and things are going to change. They're going to constantly change. You're going to lose things. You're going to gain things. But Bhat is saying to us, in Jio Supna, pekhnaa, aise, jaan, they said the only way you're going to start to feel eternal peace is you've got to look at this life just like that dream. Inme kachh, saacho nehee. And like we spoke about in the last video, that reflection isn't the truth, but the ray, what we are, the Atma from the sun, from God, is the truth. And Bhat is reminding us, inme kachh, saacho nehee. From this, everything we see is not true. Jo dise so chalanhar, lapt reho te andar, batao se jo lave ne, tako haath na aave ke. Bhat is saying, just like falling in love with that traveler. They're saying that traveler is not going to remain in your hand. That traveler is going to go and then you're going to feel pain. They're saying, but the truth is what is always there, what we spoke about, that turiya. That is the only true thing, because that is the only thing that is not going to come and go. We get attached to somebody's personality. We marry somebody because they have a certain personality in a certain way, but they've not reached Saj. They've not reached that complete stillness. Ther kar bais ho, har jan pyare, Sadgur tumre kaaj savare, when we go to that still place inside. So what happens is, and we get caught up in that dream, and because they've not reached stability anyway, they can have a complete personality change. They can go from being one person to something completely different. Many times we see when people change for the better, the other partner's not able to handle it. And they're like, I married you because I used to chill out and enjoy having a drink with you. And we used to chill out and talk about people, whatever, and, gossip, and we'd have a right laugh. But you've gone all weird now. You don't drink anymore. You don't now gossip anymore. When even somebody changes for the better, but we're attached to that dream and we can't accept that change. So it pains us. But Sadhguruji says, but that was you attached yourself to something that is changeable. That isn't the truth. And the truth is only that Vaheguru that doesn't change. So parts is in mehalla kachh saacho ne naanak bin bhagvaan. Without that stable Vaheguru ji is the only thing that is never going to change. Nis din maaeaa kaarane. Then day and night, when we get stuck and we start to think this is true, that my siblings, my parents, everything, this is all true, my car, my status, my work, I don't want somebody's personality, my own personality. Oh, I used to be like this and I'm not anymore. I can't believe I'm not like that anymore. And we get all stressed out about it. How do I get like that again? We're even attached to the way I am. But even that is changeable. So Pach is saying that maaeaa kaarane, so we then we're constantly then wavering. We then get so caught up in pain because somebody has changed. But nis din maaeaa kaarane praanee ddolat neet, we're going to keep falling. And then just like Pach is saying, anek maaeaa rang pekhnaa bujave. These different colors pull us in. There's different colors of something that is not even real. And we're trying to hold on to it. And what are these different colors? These different colors are all the things that we've just been naming, these different layers, and that status, that those people around us, our people's personality, and they're all different colors that are pulling us in, and we think, oh, that's nice, and we go and attach ourselves to that. But then that hurts us because it doesn't remain the same. We realize it's not permanent. It's not taking away my thirst. Anek maaeaa rang pekhnaa bujave. It's not going away. Har ka naam japat agave. Agave means to feel fulfilled. And it says har ka naam japat. But as we start to recite God's name, and remember, reciting God's name isn't just a word. We went through this in the last few Saloks. It's when we actually make that connection to that one, that in mehalla kachh saacho nehee naanak bin bhagvaan, to that bhagvaan. And then, but since kottan mein Nanak ko naaraain cheet, but somebody that becomes stable and connects to that one that is the absolute truth. Maharaj is saying that kottan mein Nanak ko, there is only very few. Jag mein uttama kaddiye virale kei ke. Pach is saying there's very few. Ustan ninda dau tyage khoje pad nirbana jan Nanak eho khel kathan hai kinhun gurmukh jana. It's very difficult, that game is, to escape that dream, to escape thinking that it is real, that dream. So there's very few people that are actually able to get across. But it says Jaise jalte buddha buddha. Soon as something comes, it goes away. And just like we just went through, and we often think physical too much, but just like that bubble appears and it goes away, appears and it goes away. And sometimes those people that we're trying to find comfort from, they're constantly changing, and we're thinking, I just can't keep up with you. You was like this one day, but now you're like this, but now you've gone to being like that. I can just never work you out. And then but Bhat is saying that this whole life, even that thought process that is going on, there's a thought that appears and a thought that goes. Another thought appears and then it's gone the next minute. So this is a constant cycle that is continually happening. Upaje bin se neet, that this is going to keep happening constantly, because this is the way the world has been made, and that for us the only place to get sukh from is to actually attach ourselves to that one that is permanent. And to do that, again, we need a guru. The guru that has reached that place. The guru will give us a rayat, the guru will give us the way and lead us to that path of finding that one that is constantly stable. And I'm sure we all have those moments where we forget everything. We forget that we've even got those relatives. We even forget that those people that we've got around us. And that's not in a negative way, we forget them. What I'm trying to say is that the pull from them, the attachment from them, the expectation from them, for that moment when we have a moment in Kirtan, for example, have a moment in when we're reciting Gurmantar Vaheguru, and for a moment when we're doing seva, we lose ourselves so much that all that for that moment just breaks, and we feel that at this very moment I'm ready to leave this world. If my body went and this moment, it wouldn't matter to me. And I'm sure we've all had these moments. Kottan mein Nanak go to when we fall amongst those very few and we make that connection, and then all those thoughts, all that is pulling us in for that moment just goes. But then we don't always remain in that moment, and then we come back out and then we forget again. Satguru Ji Paatshah say that milya hoye na vichhade, je milya hoye. Paatshah is saying that once we meet that one, then we won't separate from that one. But what happens is we have these little moments, and those moments are very important because those moments are the ones that are able to tell us that why in that moment I'll do things like that, then come to our mind that at this moment I'm so content and I'm ready to leave. Those moments are so important for us because sometimes somebody might say to us, oh, you know what, you've just gone back to being an angry person. You've just gone back to, like, what was the point of you even going through that and experiencing that? There's a huge point to that experience because that experience will tell you there's something amazing sitting inside of me. There's that stillness sitting right inside of me, and then I want to access that. Then that yearning comes. How can we yearn for something that we haven't even had a little experience of? The only time we want more of something, Sangat Ji, is when we've had a little bit of something. How has anyone ever gotten addicted to something? You can't just get addicted to something that you've not even tried, you've not even experienced. It doesn't make sense. So it comes from a little taste one day, then a little more, and then a little more, and then you completely get lost in it. Just like Satguru Ji Paatshah Ji say to us in Laman di Bani, in that Chauthadi Lav, it says, Har Chauthadi Lav man sahaj paya, har paya Balram Jio. And then they say that Gurmukh milya subaye. When they say Gurmukh milya subaye, har man tan meetha laya Balram Jio. And this word laya means when you then get addicted to something. It says Gurmukh milya subaye. That a Gurmukh is that one that meets Vaheguru Ji effortlessly. And something can only become effortless when we first have to make an effort. First we make an effort, and then that same thing, that practice again and again, makes it then effortless. Har man tan meetha laya. We don't get addicted to that connection, that moment straight away. But the more we have that connection, the more we get addicted to it. Har man tan. Then my mind and my body, mantan, meetha, it's so sweet, that connection, that moment of stillness. Mantan meetha laya. Laya means then I become addicted to it. Then I constantly want it. So Sangaji, but we've got to put that practice in first. And only through that practice, and we have from the small moments, then it doesn't matter. Then even whilst we're getting on with our work daily, and when we're in our normal workplace, we can experience longer periods of that inner stillness and connection. And then our karma, all the impressions within our mind that have accumulated, they then do not influence us in life. Then we act from that place of absolute calmness. And I'm sure we've all experienced that in our lives when we're able to make a decision without any of those influences. To give an example, there's times where we may have experienced something so many times. It could be food. And then a lot of the times that we will act out of that place of that the memory of the taste of something will then lead us to having that again. And when we have that again, that means we are giving in to the influence of our karma, the past actions that we've done. But imagine being our mind just becoming then a tool. We're acting from that place of absolute stillness. And then what happens? Then we're able to make a clear decision on life. And then we're able to utilize our mind, that intellect that sits there, that tells us actually, you know what? That's not actually good for me. And then because now that taste isn't influencing my decision, I'm able to just be separate from it and then make a clear decision of what to do. And I'm sure we will all like to be in that place in our lives as well. But the only way that is going to come, just like Pacha is saying, is realizing this dream, but that realization is going to come through practice. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pacha Ji, they finish off by saying, Jag rachana taise rachi kahu Nanak sun meet, that listen, oh my friend, that the world has been made in this way. Maharaj is making us conscious and for us to realize that this world is just like this little bubble that's just going to come and go, and try and find that connection to something that isn't going to come and go. And that's the only place we're going to feel sukh. That's why Maharaj says, listen, oh my friend, because Maharaj care for us. They call us a friend, and they're saying that I want this for you. I want you to realize that it's just a bubble. And that way then, when something just pops again, when something that just disappears again, whether it be death, whether it be somebody's personality, we're okay. It won't faze us because we've got something inside of our heart that is permanent. So Maharaji Kirpa Karan, they were all able to reach that place within this lifetime, so we can escape from that janam maran, from that cycle of birth and death. So please forgive me for my mistakes. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru